I think I just cracked the code onto why thus far all of my relationships or dating has turned into a situationship. I met up with a new friend today and I was telling her all about how there is a science to what dating in 2023 is like for women dating straight men. It all goes the same way. The first date, amazing chemistry. We are right away really attracted to one another. We have similar energy that we give off. Conversation is easily flowing, the whole 9 yards. Before the date is over, they always confirm another date is on the way and they're so excited to see me again. And they usually check in the day after and then following up to the next date.
Really?
Well, I guess you're not technically wrong about that. The science is known as basic human pair bonding. It's something you're incapable of doing. Judging from the fact that you've used the term situationship to describe your love life, or lack thereof, you have established that you've passed yourself around like a case of ramen noodles around a medium security prison. Now, you might think that it's fun in a stinky sort of way, but the longer you stay on that particular carousel, the harder it is for you to emotionally bond with another human being. It's been proven that the more people you've taken to bed, the more your mind is warped. Now, I know what you're thinking, gentlemen and gents, because I'm thinking it as well. In order for you to have your mind warped, you would need to possess a functioning brain first. But in this broad case, maybe we should make an exception. Sometimes it's fun just to play pretend.
Second date is even better than the first, and I'm hooked. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. This is fate. I'm so excited. Not actually like fate, but I'm like, wow, I'm so excited to get to know them more. And so then I go to calm down. You don't need to rush anything, whatever, but we're excited to get to know them. Anyway, I end up dating them, actively going on dates to get to know them for the next 3 weeks. And I'm like, wow, little by little, I'm learning more. I'm realizing the things that I really like about them or appreciate about their personality. And I think about questions that I have for them that are important, make sure that all of the non-negotiables are checked off. Typically the boxes that are very important to me are checked at this point. Clearly with time, everybody, you learn more about people and you might not like them down the road. But up until this point, I'm interested in them at least.
Nobody cares, Sean. Nobody cares.
If we're going by the modern woman standard for dating, then all of these non-negotiable boxes she's talking about are vain, unrealistic, and ultimately pointless. These are things that women look for when she's going after Chattington Steele, not an average guy. That's why she's constantly finding herself enamored with these men. But I find it interesting how at no point she's talking about how this man feels, because there is no chance in the never-ending self-checkout line in the convenience store of the intergalactic space god Togachard, all hail, that she'd feel this way about any average man. She just had a taste of Chattington's Steele and never reduced herself to dating anyone else below that particular benchmark, which is just one of the many, oh so many reasons why her pair bonding skills have all but turned to dust.
Without a doubt, the beginning of week 4, every single time. So at this point, it's science backed, checked by me, who has gone on a lot of dates, okay? Week 4 comes around and the man comes to me and he says something along the lines of either he is not ready for a relationship, even though he's been dating me this entire time, or he doesn't have the time or capacity and he just needs a little bit of space, or he's really trying to work on himself, or he is not available to date, doesn't have the emotional capacity.
You don't know what words mean, do you?
You know what, I'm just gonna say it. Woman, just because you spent those dates on your back doesn't mean that what you've done is actually backed by any form of science. You see, those men are of a higher caliber. These guys have worked incredibly hard and want to enjoy some of the finer things that life have to offer. Maybe some nice clothes, a professional grade dartboard, not to mention nice cuts of steak. But here's a secret about those men. Every once in a while, they get tired of steak and want to chow down on some cheap, greasy burgers. I'll take that for what you will, but it doesn't take long for them to want to be done slumming it, so they'll tell you the same old tried and true line about how they're not ready for a relationship. But the reality is they might be looking for a relationship, but why would a man want to live off of greasy hamburgers when he's got plenty of quality steak at home?
And up until this point, I have kind of been thinking through, is there something that I'm doing, asking for too much time? Never, first of all. Second of all, I do not have an anxious attachment style. I actually have a secure attachment style. But the problem is, all of these men, they are emotionally unavailable and don't have the capacity because they have an avoidant attachment style. They need time and they need space and they need to figure themselves out. And all of them say the same stuff. They always say, I really need to put myself first. I've never put myself first before. And ladies, they have an avoidant attachment style, which means they are avoidantly attaching to you. And it's not going to work because you're secure and you don't need that. So don't settle for that. If they tell you, bye, you do not get to be in my life anymore. I have so many other thoughts, but for now, back to the drawing board. Good luck.
What?
And here we have yet another modern woman's dating standard. No matter the situation or the context, the woman is completely perfect and just an innocent victim of evil, insecure men who can't handle a confident woman. And that logic makes about as much sense as a woman in command of a nuclear submarine. You're forgetting an important aspect of science, woman. It's an aspect of numbers. If you are the common denominator in all of these cases, then it's impossible for the entire population of men you date to be the problem. And filling your head with all sorts of psychobabble is just one last stop for you on the way to the wall. Well, it would be if you didn't treat your body like a septic tank for over 15 years, but that's just common sense to anybody with a quarter of a brain.
It's science.
Here are 5 signs that you're a single married mom. 1, if he died tomorrow or you got divorced, nothing's going to change. 2, you could have an affair and he would never know. 3, you do the majority, if not all, of the childcare and housework, and you don't get a break.
So in other words, if you feel bad, it's because things are bad. Got it. This list just proves that you're hyperfixated on your own emotions while completely disregarding everyone else's. Things would definitely change if you were to suddenly disappear. Why? Because the mother of that man's children is gone. If you were to have an affair, you would most likely find out. Why? Because it's the digital age and you don't know the meaning of the word shame. And if you're not getting a break, you're making excuses. Why? Because you want to justify your terrible behavior so badly that you'll pretend 5 minutes of putting clothes into the dryer is somehow akin to working 12 hours at a steel mill.
4, you resent your husband, and I mean resent them for everything. For sitting on the couch while you're doing the laundry, or playing on their phone while you're making lunches and doing bath time. You are the one that's holding down the fort, and you don't get any thanks. And 5, your spouse says to you, hey, just tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. But then you have to think about all the stuff you want him to do, and it adds to your mental load.
You know you're really just full of shit. There's the John. Okay?
Okay, let me see if I can get this straight here. A woman has an abundance of mental space to create all of these cockamamie reasons as to why she resents her husband. She has the ability to perform mental gymnastics to the point where she's a victim in every single thing her husband does, regardless of the intention. And she has the ability to do all of this while keeping a list in her head of all the stuff that needs to be done around the house. But when her husband asks what she can do to make her life easier, then all of a sudden that's adding too much onto her mental load. That's why the mental load argument is a load of liquid manure. The human mind is capable of a wondrous amount of things. We've used our minds to learn how to fly. Our minds have created new ways of accessing infinite amounts of information. And it was a human mind who had the idea of putting a stick of cheese into the crust of pizza. And you would know this if you actually read those books on the shelf behind you, instead of showing them off to your one and only client to convince them that you're smart.
That's funny because it's so true.
Is anyone out here having success in finding love while being the chill girl? If you are, please share your story, because I'm trying to be the chill girl and I am experiencing some really difficult emotions that I don't know what to do with and don't know how to move forward, because I hooked up with someone who I trusted. After getting to know him for a couple months, he had been listening to me, taking my emotions into consideration. We had talked about how we weren't seeing other people, and I was like, you know what? I can trust him. I can hook up with him. So we did.
Big mistake.
Well, I honestly don't see any possible scenario where you could possibly be considered chill. Just take a look at your inability to process emotion on top of your priorities. You just contradicted yourself, sister. You're asking people if they've had trouble finding love and then decide to hook up with a guy who was obviously playing you. It's come to the point where you can't tell the difference between love and having some guy boldly go where too many men have gone before. You made this guy wait a couple of months for some bedroom action until you felt like you could be trusted, but the fact that you trusted him is immaterial. The second he tasted your goods, his stomach churned at how rotten you've let them become. Face the facts, woman. Bedroom fun is all you have to offer, and it still isn't even worth all that much.
Radio silence. Radio silence since then. He even said he would text me later that day because I wanted to go on a walk, and he was like, yeah, we can do that for sure. Nothing. It has been days, and you know what? I thought, I'm gonna wait for him. It's not gonna take that long. He'll say something eventually. It's been nothing, and I haven't been feeling good, and I thought, you know what? in the past, when I haven't been feeling good, I've called him and he's talked to me. So it's getting bad. Like, the emotions were getting like really overwhelming. I was like, I can call him. It's fine. No answer. No fucking answer, dude. I feel disgusting. I feel disgusting as a human being that I let myself get into this situation.
That's not my problem. It's yours.
What'd you think was gonna happen, woman? You've been using this man as an emotional baggage handler for the last 3 to 4 months. He had to deal with a lot of your problems before sleeping with you, and he realized the payoff wasn't worth it. And after that grueling experience, there's no chance in hell that he's gonna want anything to do with you anymore. He got what he wanted, as underwhelming as it may have been, so there wasn't any more use for you. And regardless of how disgusted you may or may not feel about yourself, if there's one thing we can count on is that you'll keep doing it over and over and over again because you won't be able to help yourself. It's the only way you're capable of feeling anything.
I know it, your family knows it, dogs know it.
Listen, I am loving the looking for a man in finance, trust fund, blue eyes thing, okay? But I need to put you girlies on something. Don't look for the guy in finance, look for the CEO, all right? Look for his dad, his father, all right? The one that established the trust fund. Read some billionaire romances, all right? Because this is the next level. If you really want to look for the like finance guys, just read some billionaire romances, please. Because chef kisses to this.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
Ah, boy, here we go. You know that the state of the world is so beyond saving when you have women who think that women's fantasy books are somehow a guide to marrying a 75-year-old billionaire. Here's the reality of the situation, sweetheart. The billionaire class is the modern-day aristocracy, and those guys keep their lineages within their own circles. They will not reduce themselves to talking with a commoner. Billionaires breed with other billionaires. Whatever plan you come up with to even try and meet a guy like that will most likely end with a couple of paramilitary bodyguards all over you like a hobo on a cheese sandwich. You might have a shot at a cheap one-night stand with the CEO's stimulant-addicted day-trading douche of a son, but that is your absolute best-case scenario. If that man introduced you to his family, it would be the most shameful experience of his life, and that particular list of accolades also involves his father bribing the press to keep his son out of the news cycle. And that is going to do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, share this video as well so we can get together and give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.